All right. What's up tonight, people? This is Mark Antonio. I got my guy here with me tonight. Special guest hanging out with me. We're gonna talk about the Boogeyman tonight. I got my boy here. Yay! Introduce yourself, man. Let the world know who you are.
Uh, Call me Robo 68.
All right. He wants to go about Robo 68. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So I got my guy here with me today. So last podcast we talked about the knock at the door. It's a situation that's real. It's happening. It's a lot of events going on in the world, and I feel like it needed to be addressed. Tonight, we're talking about the Boogeyman.
Ooh.
Oh, the Boogeyman. A lot of people think, the Boogeyman is one singular person, or the Baba Yaga. John Wick, right? Love that movie. Dude was a terror. Like, if I had to think that was the Boogeyman, that's what he looked like. Pissed off Keanu Reeves with a gun. That's the most terrifying thing in the world. Yeah, I'm just gonna let you know. So,
yeah, he was bad with that.
man, I don't want no problems with a guy who get mad for killing his puppy. All right, that's a man who wants no problem. All right, so tonight there's something that we're all seeing again. All right, now a lot of people don't believe this. All right, there's something called a deep state. The whole idea that you have a group of people sitting out here just controlling the world with no apparent end in sight. Now, am I one to believe that? Kind of. And no. Because who could really believe a group of people have managed to hold control over, let's say, America in the last 500 years? Let's at least keep it to about 1492 till now, because that's, the time for alleged historical relevance. But it does seem like since, Christopher Columbus, the Spaniards, aka the conquistadors, George Washington later on, and after about World War II, America kind of seemed to go into a different phase. Now, most people right now in civilization believe that our government works for our best interest.
Mm. I don't know.
I mean, that's what they're there for. They're supposed to, follow the Constitution, work hard, do right by the people, and take care of the world. We're the world police in America. But that's not what it seems, Robo. That's not how it seems, Robo.
I feel the same way. I don't think a lot of people know what deep state really is.
Okay. So deep state is just so all right. How can I put this in a very simple way? The deep state is the hidden hand. Like we know we have a president, we have the three executive branches, we have the House, the Senate, Congress, we have all these people. The idea is that there's someone telling them what to do. Some hidden hand, some group of people.
Okay, well, I pulled it up. It says a deep state is a type of government made up of potentially secret and unauthorized network of power operating independently of a state's political leadership in pursuit of their own agenda and goals.
Well, that does sound like America.
It does.
It does. And okay, so if that's what the deep state is, then how can so many people not believe it's real?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, history has shown us there's someone there. Like I don't know any other way to put it. And even all right, so let's look back. It's a ruling government hidden. All right, so let's go a little further back. Let's go about 700 AD ish, 600 AD ish. Around this point, we've gotten out of the Crusades. Um, Jesus is a thing now. Christianity is fairly popular, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have the Islamic faith, Judaism, and Christianity. All right, we got three different groups. There's no really one world government, and everyone's just kind of running the mill, living their life. But even in that history, there seems to be someone behind them.
Yes.
Okay, so if there's someone that far back behind them where the order of royalty or the order of bloodlines and governments were overthrown and families lost land and royalty and all this, mysteriously out of poor decision making, solely out of poor decision making, then were they still back then talking about is there a hidden hand to that government? Because if that's the case, then this group has been around forever. This deep state seems to just travel,
Deep.
deeply traveling. These guys are nomads. All right. Now we've heard some names: Khazarians, Sumerians are thrown in there, Syrians, but one that stuck out to me were the Khazarians. Very nomadic group uh, from the Ukraine area.
Hey man, can I say a certain name without being anti-Semitic? I think I said enough by saying anti-Semitic. Think so?
Uh, you could, but we're not going to go there this
Okay.
early. We're
All
going to
right.
let them have it right now.
Okay.
We're going to get into it a little bit later. They got a name too, but for reasons of, we don't want to aggravate the hornet's nest this early,
Okay.
we're going to, let them be.
Yeah.
So, but we will say the name Khazarians or Khazars. A very nomadic group, once pagans, known for strange belief systems, worship, rituals, um, just an all around bad group. And that's way back when. So if this group was known way back when, and we fast forward to 2023, and we're still talking about deep states, along with our government agencies and even the school system, to an idea amongst the 4chan people or the QAnons, they believe that someone's controlling the world.
You and
Yeah, so the QAnons are a group of Trump supporters.
hmm.
Those are that QAnon. Those are his followers.
Hmm.
They had a little setup at 4chan where they shared information and they talked about government corruption and you know things of that like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know about that.
I mean, if you're not paying attention to them, you would know about them. But if you watch mainstream media, they talked a lot about this group. They call them conspiracy theorists. They call them extremists. They had a lot of those guys had something to do with Jan 6. Let them tell it. I wasn't there. I just thought it was crazy it happened. But these guys were again thinking that there's a deep state issue. This is what we're talking about, the
Hmm.
boogeyman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I concur that there is a deep state issue.
you believe there's a deep state issue.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Um, because I know for one, in my opinion, all presidents are puppets.
Okay.
So with that being said, is a hidden hand controlling them.
Well, the lobbyists have something to do with them. They give them money for their campaign. We know they take kickbacks when they endorse, certain companies. One could say that the corporations run America, and that's the hidden hand.
Yeah, yeah. That's corporations and governments aren't even supposed to be working hand in hand, from
But
my understanding.
in a perfect world, I think there's a line that shouldn't be crossed. I think once corporation or corporate influence delegates the elections, I believe then we have a problem. It shouldn't be to the point where we'll say Coca-Cola has some precedence over the citizens because they want to open four more factories or however they do this.
Well, I can. Well, in that case, I could talk about insurance companies sitting down and bringing up all these insurance laws to where we have to pay insurance, and that's crazy. I mean, there shouldn't be laws forcing poor people to get locked up because they can't afford insurance. And I'm speaking of Georgia, just from personal experience.
Okay, so that's fair because at one point, if you didn't have insurance, you got hit on your taxes for it. That was a thing during the Obama administration.
Yeah.
Uh, no comment on that guy. You know, we try to keep it away from the presidents, keep it on topic, is what we're saying. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, all this deep state stuff involves the presidents because there's to a degree our leadership's tainted, and this was discussed last episode.
Hmm.
One could say the only honest presidents we've seen,
Hmm.
maybe Kennedy, Lincoln. You want to throw him in there? I don't know. You know, George Washington, he's the first allegedly, but you know, they love him too. But outside of Kennedy, you know, and he wasn't clean. Let's make this known, people. He was not clean. Hey, how many men turning down Marilyn Monroe?
But to what standard?
I mean, I'm not turning down Marilyn Monroe. I love my wife,
I'm just
guys.
saying, being clean. Being clean to what standards? To on a political standpoint or just a personal standpoint?
Okay, fair question. So Kennedy, I think, in my opinion, was clean enough to where he rattled cages.
I like the honesty.
He was very honest. His inaugural speech is one of the greatest speeches in history. Also, why presidents can't write their own speeches anymore. But it was one of the greatest speeches. This man did speak about the secret societies. He spoke about the propaganda. He spoke
Yeah.
about the mass media portraying false truths.
Yes.
False truths, it's a paradox when I say that, but a false truth, is there truth in there?
And speaking of the boogeyman, he spoke of that silent war.
He did. He
And
did.
the boogeyman is the one that started the silent war. This is my opinion. I'm just speaking my opinion.
All right. Okay, so let's think about this. If he saw it back then, and we know his family to be of stature, of elite feel, or, you know, just elite status, the Kennedys. All right, people, we're saying the Kennedys. This man was given presidency because, you know, we all believe to some extent that these elections aren't in our favor.
Yeah.
But let's say for one instance, we got someone in there that gave a crap about the American people. And this is black people, Mexicans, whites, anybody,
American.
Americans. Crazy, right? America cared about America, or at least we had a president we thought cared about America. And he denounced his religion. He refused to kiss the Pope's pinky or his hand, however that works, because, you know, he was Catholic. He refused it. He had a problem with Vietnam. He had a problem with mainstream media. He had a significant issue with secret societies, and he being from one of them. So, what could that have told you about what he was dealing with if this man himself was against secret societies and he was basically put in by secret societies, or what we are talking about, the boogeyman or the deep state? He's been, this whole conversation has been here. So, how is it we're still visiting this conversation 50, 60 years later?
People fail to see that it's true or that it could be possibly true. Everybody's comfortable, you know, in their state. Everybody's comfortable where they are, and they fail to see what's really going on. Like I said, my opinion again, no one really wants to see the truth because they're comfortable. They have all their luxury. You know, we live in a place where we're assumed to be free. I say assumed for a reason. If I didn't go to work to pay my bills, I mean, I'd be living on the street. They give you a choice. This is my opinion. They give you a choice to be a free and willing slave or be a bond.
Yeah. And Seeker, you're absolutely right. The CIA had a lot, and we're not done. We were waiting on them. We were getting to them. All right. We're also getting to the Federal Reserve. We have a lot of things to discuss as far as the boogeyman. So I'm thinking, here's my idea of the boogeyman. My idea of the boogeyman is essentially a group of families and organizations in which they hide behind and move their money and do their bidding in. And they have different names. They rebrand it so well. Like if you don't know your symbolism, if you don't know what you're looking at, you'll miss it. And it's something to see because they're here. Like I'm sure we've all heard of the Bilderberg Club, the Bohemian Grove, Trilateral Commission, Washington D.C., London, Israel. Again, we're not talking about the mere citizens of these lands or these territories or these countries. We're not talking about the average Joe. We're talking about a group of elite individuals who routinely seem to control power in different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And these same groups of people are only allowed in through some form of membership. Now, this whole deep state thing, it said it was a government. That means it's more than one person. It has to be a group of people. There's no other way. There's no way one person, one lone shark, one lone wolf could manage without millions of help.
You're right.
Even even the bare minimum, let's say 500,000. That's still 500,000 people moving around controlling aspects of our lives, aspects of entertainment, aspects of production, food, water. So these people are moving around everywhere, but oh, you dare not talk about them.
Hmm.
Hey, there's people who have been double tapped in the back of the head, and it was ruled a
Suicide.
suicide.
That's great. That's great. I don't see how you could hit yourself in the back of the head 2 times with 2 bullets,
It's not funny,
and
but
it's a suicide. That don't make no sense.
uh, I mean, no, but that's been the official reports.
I mean, you hit 1 time. I don't know. I say maybe they tied the gun to the wall, pulled the string twice, hit themselves twice. Maybe once. I don't know.
All right, that's what I was saying. Epstein committed suicide in prison.
Oh, that's bullshit. Oh,
It's all right. It's all right. It's adults on here. Everyone got their big boy pants on tonight. Everyone should have a cup in their hand, some of their favorite good stuff, or a cigarette or a good cigar. Hey, we're having grown people conversation today. Okay, language should be the last of your words.
yeah, Epstein committed suicide. That's bullshit. We all know that. Well, I think this motherfucker running around free as a jaybird, doing the same things he
Not a
was
jaybird.
doing before he supposedly went to prison. My opinion.
So one would say the deep state let him out.
I would say the boogeyman had something to do with it.
So the boogeyman is still around.
He ain't going nowhere no time soon. I don't think.
So so how do we identify this man or this woman or this group of people?
I say group.
So how do we find them? This is the question that we're trying to find out tonight. Like, how did this group manage to control every aspect of our lives?
Infiltration, um, blackmail.
Definitely a lot of blackmail in there.
Mm, infiltration and blackmail. The main things I can come up with. How about you?
A whole lot of slavery. A whole lot of silencing, a whole lot of
yeah.
skewing of history. Because he who controls the history controls the world. He who controls the money doesn't care about an election because he controls the money. And everyone loves money in America.
Yeah, right about that.
Can't speak for the rest of the world, guys. Hey, we keep it strictly to our country. Now, we understand you guys' problems out there. We do. I'm not going to hide it, man. Like, I can't say I'm well versed in world relations. I served in the military, I deployed. I'm Air Force. I know a lot of my veterans out there like he didn't deploy. He was on vacation. You're absolutely right. Don't be petty. I was Air Force. We respect the Marines and the Army, but we're
Yes.
saying, hey, some guys just need the support. That's what I was there for. Nonetheless, when I deployed, I did get the chance to talk to locals. And it seems like people around the world are dealing with the same problem. And even not the gentlemen, well, gentlemen too, and some of the women in the Air Force from around the world were stationed with us. And a lot of the problems they talk about with their government, we seem to have the same problem. How?
Man.
So imagine, right? In America, we think our government is top shit, top top gun.
Can't nobody fuck with
Can't nobody mess with us. We America. You run up on us, you're gonna find out why we have no free health care. It's true. We don't have free health care over
it.
here.
We do not.
But guess what we do have? Guns.
Yes.
America. Second Amendment.
The right to bear arms.
Food. America. Big blue, baby. And what everyone say? Behind every blade of grass in America, baby, there's a gun. Rock and roll, let's go, man. And this is where we're at right now. The masses are riled up. Someone got them going right now. Is it the boogeyman? Is it the deep state? We don't know. But this is what we're trying to find out. This is what we're talking about tonight. And I hope all the listeners who engage and understand what we're talking about really know that we're doing this just so you can understand what's going on. Because it ain't by accident that we're all looking at our government scratching our head like, yo, there's something wrong with this situation.
Yes.
There's no way you could deny that there's nothing wrong with this situation. There's a lot wrong with this right now.
Yeah, and me, I think since I'm 18, I'm 37 now. We've been robbed through taxes for a long time. Taxation is ridiculous
And illegal.
Yeah, from what I hear.
Without representation. Excuse me. Taxation without representation is illegal. But yet, inflation is milking us. Taxes are milking us right now.
Man.
So what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to just sit back and assume our government is caring about us, or do we assume when we look back in history through various generations that there's been some type of conflict with our government and institutions? The 70s was the hippie movement, right? Yes, sir, Rocky. You're absolutely right, baby. Rise up. Thank you for that. All right? We got to understand, man. Since the 70s, all right, let's talk about the 70s. Civil rights movement. You had the Black Panthers. You had all groups of color. It ain't just a white and black thing. This is one of the few times in history where you got white and black on the same page. Mexican, everybody. Everybody kind of knew there was a problem back then. They called them hippies, flower children. Because, they were against, what was it, Vietnam back then? Understand, guys, we're born in the 80s. All right?
Yeah.
We're still young. We're not old guys. We're born in the 80s. 85 to be exact. We're millennials. We're the generation you talk about. The lazy group,
Yeah.
the people who who just don't want to join anything and don't have any understanding, that's who you're listening to. We're millennials, and but we're not the kind of millennials you think. We're from the '80s.
Man, growing up in the '80s, from my experience, man, it was tough for me. You know, I come from predominantly black area.
Mm-hmm.
We know crack was pushed in our neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
We know how it got there, and we know CIA had something to do with it. I don't know. I assume that the CIA had something to do with it, just from things I read and heard. And you know, my mom, she had things going on in her life dealing with drugs. And with that being said, I had a rough life growing up dealing with drugs. I've never sold a crack rock, gram of cocaine in my life because I know what it did to my family. But I know that it did not come from us.
No.
It came from the deep state of my being.
Hey,
Those people.
I mean, the Ira Contra scandal isn't fake, guys. Reagan pushed the DARE program while serving drugs in California and across America to fund his little proxy war in Central South America with what's this, Noriega in them. This is the era of Noriega and Escobar, right? Okay. So yeah, this is a real thing. And for all who out there think this is make believe, hey, it's a simple search. DuckDuckGo, Yandex, hey, whatever you got to do, it's on Google. It's not even hidden. You can search the CIA classifieds for that. They made the DARE program and then sold drugs while telling people not to do drugs. If this ain't right,
oh man.
So you got to understand now, hypocrites. You got to understand now, 2023. We're just really sitting here talking about deep state activity. All right, we got a gentleman. Rocky, did you want to chime in? Looks like we lost him. Hey, we got him.
Hey,
Rocky, there.
yeah, shit's going to hit the fan. We're going to look like Venezuela before a lot of people wakes up. When they have to eat their cats and dogs, then they'll probably think that everything went to crap, and they didn't see it.
Well,
we have eyes to see and a mouth to pass the information.
Well, Rocky, you're absolutely right, and this is why I'm on here right now talking to you. I'm taking a chance. I'm putting my information out there. I'm not perceiving to know everything, but I do see the obvious as a millennial, and I feel like you are a millennial. So if you saw it and this generation can see it, well, maybe we're on the same page.
It's been happening for a long, long time, and this has all been to destroy the American experiment all the way back to the 1800s. They had to get rid of this place of hope for people so they can keep them under control.
Absolutely.
And that's what the whole thing's been about.
Absolutely, and it does come off that way, even from our generation. You got to understand, with the millennials, we seen a lot. And I'm not going to get too deep with you, Rocky, because I'm still on here chopping up. I got to stick with the script. But I do appreciate you coming on here, man. I do want to tell you, hey, there's no generational divide between us, man. Me and you, we're both Americans.
That's it. We all bleed red.
We all bleed red. We are born in this country. If you serve, hey,
Amen.
Thank you for your service. Because I served. I did my 4 years. I did it honorably. And I was Air Force. And you know what? My mother was Army. My father was a Marine. My grandfather was Army. I'm generational military. I'm generational American. All right. So I don't look at people for their skin tone. I look at them for the character and the heart. And we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you coming on tonight. All right, Rocky. Hey.
Thank you.
No problem. Just make sure you follow the page, pass the word, man. We appreciate you and we love you, man. You know what I'm saying? God bless you, all right?
Bless you too.
All right. All right, guys, you hear that? That's America right there. That's not divide. That's just good people coming together and having a conversation.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's what it's about. Don't
Talking,
let. Go
talking
ahead.
about the obvious.
Talking about the obvious, the boogeyman, the one person everyone's afraid of.
Everybody need to put aside their luxury and see what's going on. I have luxury. I enjoy being in America. I enjoy my life. I enjoy my car. I enjoy everything that we have in America. But they're pampering us for them to keep doing what they want to do and achieve their agenda.
Absolutely. Think about this. How many people right now can fathom what we're talking about? People still believe that voting matters. And it does to an extent. I still believe that. I still somewhere deep down think it matters because if it didn't matter, they wouldn't manipulate it so bad.
Yes.
If voting didn't matter, they wouldn't prop up the puppets to us and leave us with two options, red or blue.
Blood or crip.
Blood or crip. Right? For us, it's blood or crip. For the rest of America, it's Republican and Democrat.
Yeah.
That's perspective to what everyone is seeing. It's dressed up the same. It's still the same objective, but it's dressed up between each culture differently. And it divides us.
It does. I hate the division. I hate racism. I hate that big scheme, that big joke that they put out there for us to hate each other and to keep us divided so they can come.
For no apparent reason. For sheer shits and giggles. This is why we're talking about the boogeyman. And all right, let's kind of keep it back on topic. Hey, we kind of went on a rant there, but we're very passionate about this.
Yeah.
We're taking opportunities to give our history and give our perspective as millennials. We're not so different from Gen X and the baby boomers.
No.
We're not different. We just grew up in different generations as different morals. I give baby boomers their credit. I used to blame you guys, man. And I used to blame you because I thought you guys sat back and watched it till I realized in the 70s that was y'all really out there protesting.
Okay,
the 60s and 70s, that was y'all during civil rights. White, black, blue, brown, orange, green, or pink. Those were baby boomers out there who thought that racism was wrong, that classism was wrong, that the government was against us.
Yes.
When Kennedy died, it wasn't a dry eye in America. So what that tell you?
Speaks volume.
When that man, November on the grassy knoll, Arlington, Texas, people mourned. America mourned. And that was the last time we saw anything like that happen again, as far as our presidents standing up against whatever was out there, against the boogeyman. So 2023, here we are outside of the COVID pandemic, and we're still visiting this conversation. And look, guys, I'm not a huge Trump supporter. I'm not a huge Biden supporter. I'm a huge We the People American supporter.
Yes. We the people.
We the people. All right. I know it's cliche. And I know a lot, as a black man, a lot of us feel like this isn't our country. And historically, that may not even be accurate. And that's a whole other episode we're going to get to.
Okay.
But as a man of color in America, a lot of us do feel like this isn't our country. This isn't our land because we're told to go somewhere that we've never been. I'm born in America. I've never been to Africa. I serve this country. My family served this country. I'm a long generation of this.
I love this country, honestly.
Hey, if Robo loves this country, knowing where he came from, because don't think this is random. Me and this guy, we go back. We share tears. We're from the same neighborhoods. So we understand what it means to be an American. The land of the free and the home of the brave. that may not be what it truly is, but if you really lived here, you understand that we got some luxury and privileges that the rest of the world don't have. And
I
when you
agree.
stand up for that, I'll stand up for that any day because this is where I'm from. I ain't got no beef with no white man. I ain't got no beef with no woman. I ain't got no beef with no Asian.
No ethnicity.
The only beef I got right now is the people that are doing us wrong.
That's it.
The people that we were supposed to trust, and it's not just our elected officials. It's our civil services with the police.
Yes.
It's the treatment inside the military when you get in. It's the treatment from the institutions like college, community college, just bare bones education system. I got some beefs with a lot of groups because it seems like there's someone banking against the people.
Man, to me, it's subtle. It's picked and it's chosen, but it's subtle. And when things are done subtle, it seems to pass over our head.
Right.
We need to pay attention to all the subtle things.
And it's hard to see it when you're 12 hours at work, 3 kids,
Yes.
bills.
Whew. Make sure they keep us occupied, right?
Yeah, we are occupied. I ain't gonna lie. I'm stuck in this matrix just like you guys. We're not any
Say
different.
that again.
We're not any different.
Man.
We're not. I'm in this matrix just like y'all, but the difference with some of us in the NPCs is that we realize we're in the matrix and we're finding a way to tell people you do know you're in a matrix.
And for me, it takes for us to help each other to really escape it. One person can't escape it. Two people can't escape it. We need a whole community of people or a government of people to escape.
But guess what? We can't defeat the boogeyman as one group. And for my people of color out there, we ain't gonna be able to do it by ourselves. I love all of y'all.
No.
I love all of you. Nothing but love and appreciation for every human in America that believes in what we're talking about and feels like we feel. We can't do it by ourselves, man. We got to stop the fighting. We got to stop the bickering. The divide was the whole game.
Yes, it was.
Divide and conquer. The first law of war, to all my veterans, y'all know the answer. It's deception. And I'm Air Force. Okay? I'm not no hardened veteran. I ain't have to pick up a gun and walk boots to the ground. I'm support. I worked in the gym, people. I folded towels. I folded towels for America.
Okay. That was funny. Okay.
It's true though. The people think like when you say you're in the Air Force, they be like, "You jump out of planes." I jumped out of bed and I was late to work.
Oh my goodness. Oh shit.
It's true. Look, man, I wasn't a dirtbag airman. I went to work. I did my job. I got all the way up to senior airman. And I moved on in life. But I'm just not no hardened veteran, but I see the obvious.
Okay, man, what I want to know, man, who is the boogeyman? I mean, I got an idea, but damn, who is the boogeyman? Who is it, or who are they?
All right. So if we got to point a finger, we can probably rule most alphabet boys. Hey, Airborne, much respect.
Ooh.
Much respect, Rocky.
Airborne.
But what Robo was saying, if we have to point fingers, which is real hard to do, we have to point most of them at our elected officials. We're going to have to point most of them at our religious leaders.
Oh, man.
And, hey, man.
Religion is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, we're going to get on that soon. But that's a whole, we'll get to that later. We'll do that later.
Man.
But We can also point at the WHO or the World Health Organization.
Mm.
We can point at the WEF, World Economic Forum, which, if you didn't know, 33 of your main institutions come from Geneva, Switzerland.
Did you hear that number?
33. But yeah, for the people who are into your numerology, in 33.
Yeah.
And they all delegate education, trade, economics, prison systems, music, culture, society. Hey, institution, control, government, control of the mind. I don't make this stuff up, people. This is real. It's real. Now, is it real in the aspect that they're working against us? It seems that way. Now, what my co-host is asking is, who are the boogeyman? Is he one singular person, or is it a group of people working together for a greater cause? Which, that greater cause has to be the shittiest thing in the world if your greater cause was to commit mass genocide.
Yeah.
You got to be the boredest motherfucker in the world. There ain't no way you could tell me the first thing you thought of today was like, how can I destroy the world and get away with it?
Hey, man, I watched the movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a group of aliens, and they was, going against the human race. And they said, he asked the alien, "Why do you want to destroy the world or get rid of all the people?" He said, "Basically because y'all occupy space we want." I said, "What the fuck? That's some bullshit." Man, humans love humans, man.
We do. We feel it in our spirit. You know the best thing about being a human while dealing with the boogeyman is the human experience. Seeing small acts of kindness are the best thing.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. I'm drinking right now and I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm telling you right now, I understand that this shit is killing me, but here I am, smoking a cigarette, talking to y'all about all our same problems that we think are separate.
Yeah.
But we have the same problem. We're all saying the same thing in these conversations with our friends and family.
And we all eat the same foods.
Right.
We all drink the same water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I go to Costco, get me a case of water that's probably poisoning. I go to Costco, get me some meat that's probably cloned. I'm just saying, we eat the same things and we drink the same things. So we are all the same. I just don't like the separation between them.
I don't. And this is the point of the boogeyman. He scares us so bad that we can't even trust each other. And here's the thing. He's so good, or they're so good, that we commit acts against ourselves and don't even realize it from settled programming. Because it's
programming is another episode as well.
Right.
Program. Oh man, people don't understand. As a child, I was programmed through my music.
Absolutely.
And I've committed some dumb stuff.
Absolutely.
Just through programming of music. And as I grew older, and I realized that it was stupid and it was just programmed.
We're all a victim. We just don't know we're victims, but because of our privileges and our luxuries, we look down on each other. We don't want the next man to have more than us, or the next woman.
I mean, I call that Mobile, Alabama.
I mean, that's just here. But let's think about this.
I know it's more than just here, but I'm just saying this is where I'm from, and I see
right. This is where we're from the South. Again, we are men from the South.
Yeah.
The deep South. We're not from Atlanta.
We're by the water.
We're from the poor city, Third Coast. the greater Gulf port. All right, the port city. I think I said that already. Port city, baby. School of Hard Knocks, in true School of Hard Knocks down here. And yeah, education system is not the greatest here. But at this point, how could you trust anything from that? The boogeyman has infiltrated education, religion, finance, the MIC, which that's a construct of the boogeyman, because that's how he reigns supreme. Hey, another country guy on here. Hey, appreciate it, Rocky. Love it in Augusta, Georgia, man. There's some good. I knew some good people in Augusta, Georgia.
I had some good times there too.
So, hey, man, we're not so separate. We're not so divided. And for us, when I say us, me and my co-host and the people who think like us, all of you, we just trying to let you guys know we see the same problem, but we understand that we are all wording it differently, and we're seeing skin tone first. We're looking at our flesh vessels. Let our spirit talk.
Yes.
All right. I'm not a Christian. I'm not heavily religious, but I believe in the spirit.
I do.
I believe in the soul. Robo,
I do.
you a good dude. You do what you got to do for your family.
Mr. Antonio, you a good dude.
I appreciate it.
You do what you got to do for your family.
Absolutely. But we all see the same thing. We just share our information amongst each other, and when we meet like-minded, that's when we'll open our mouths. But it's hard to do that when 99% of America is blinded. That 1%. All right. Let's say 5. I'll say 5% of America sees what's going on. As far as what we're talking about with every incident in American history where that doesn't make sense, all right? AIDS does not make sense. Mass incarceration, make it make sense. The 13th Amendment was used against people of color, and not just people of color, anybody considered deplorable.
All right. I know I'm going to sound a little ignorant, but what is the 13th Amendment?
13th Amendment is essentially almost like the right to slavery. Like, I don't want to misquote
I heard about that.
I don't want to misquote it. I have to pull it up. Robo's pulling it up right now, all right? We're going to talk about the 13th Amendment as not opposed, but how it works with the boogeyman. Because when slavery ended, the 13th Amendment kicked in. So instead of letting us be free, as long as we were not committing crimes, we were okay. But in a systemic racist society back then, everything a black man did was a crime. And not just a black man, a Jew or a homosexual or anybody who was different from the norm, it was considered a crime. Some people didn't go to prison. Some people went to the psychiatric units or the nut house. All right. It happened different ways for different people in different skin tones. And this is what no one wants to talk about. The boogeyman had a plan for everybody. You might not get treated as bad as the people of color, but guess what? You're going to that psychiatric ward. You're going to get medicated, and they're going to call you cuckoo, and completely rocked out crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So it's pulled up. It says abolition of slavery. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as punishment for crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Section 2, Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. They beat us with the pen. And if you're military, you understand the power of the pen. The boogeyman beat us with the pen. And not just people of color, but all Americans.
Because when the amendments are written, they don't apply to color. they apply to America.
It's relative, depending on what side of that you're on.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your point, but black, white, candy stripe, it applies to them unless you are one of
Them.
them in power.
Right. And then you get a smack on the wrist and a wrist bracelet that don't even, or ankle bracelet that don't do nothing. You still go do the same things. How do we know? Anthony Weiner.
Oh, okay. It says 13th Amendment abolishes
Mm-hmm.
slavery and involuntary servitude,
Mhm.
except
For
as
punishment.
punishment for crime. So they created crime
Mm-hmm.
and gave us crime
Yep.
and then punished us
Right.
because it says except as punishment for crime. So basically, you can be a slave if you committed a crime.
That is correct. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, guys. So guess what? They created crime.
They did.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what.
in the 80s, from my understanding, when they brought cocaine and created crack, they created crime because they gave. I'm speaking on people of color. They gave it to us, and shit. I didn't heard some people say as long as they didn't sell it to the opposite race,
They
they'll
were
be all
fine.
right.
Right.
They can still make their money. But when that started happening, it was a problem. But at the same time, when they were selling it to their own race, they had fall guys. And the guys that they were giving it to and making them sell it to get rich, they were their fall guys. So they became slaves as well as others.
And shout out to Charleston White for bringing that topic to the
You're
light.
right.
Charleston White.
Charleston White did.
Look, people, there's people out here talking. Charleston White mentioned it. He's hated amongst a lot of black people.
He is.
He's considered a coon, or it wouldn't be an Uncle Tom, it would be a Sambo.
What's up?
Sambo is like the dancing dude on TV with the black face.
Oh,
Uncle Tom was the good dude who protected like the women back in the day as slaves and stuff. But see, they skewed it and say, "Well, you're an Uncle Tom," meaning you want to be a good a do right.
mm,
That's why when do rights, like people like, no offense, Russell Wilson, they call him an Uncle Tom. It's not an Uncle Tom. He just does the right thing, and people didn't. They don't want you to do the right thing. But what we're supposed to be calling these people are Sambo. All right.
mm,
Yeah. You
damn.
gotta learn you gotta learn how they talk to people back then. So this is what we're saying. When we mentioned it with the 80s and Reagan, now one could say when they came back from World War II, they came back with crime. It was called crystal meth. This is the beginning of the motorcycle gangs. This is real history.
Shit, that what Hitler gave his people to goddamn keep them thriving.
All right. Meth. So when our servicemen came back, they came back with a new form of crime. Crystal meth. Hell's Angels are the first motorcycle gang.
Mm.
That's why you always wonder why, they push meth. Well, that's because the boogeyman gave it to them. Just like the boogeyman gave our veterans heroin when they came back from Vietnam.
Man, yeah.
And now
that shit didn't move. Okay, my bad.
Hey, we're it's getting hot right now. And in the same breath, it's funny. It happened again with the war in Iraq. We came back with opiates. Now there's prescription pills everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Afghanistan.
Damn.
Iraq war, yeah, that may have been more of oil and power. Because Saddam and Bush go back, but that's another conversation. But Afghanistan, heroin. How you think Obama was going to promise cheap prescription pills? You got to do it some way. So, look, guys, the boogeyman's real. Whoever these group of people are, and this gentleman is, or this lady, because it knows no race, no sex. They come in all colors. This is the hidden piece that people aren't seeing. You're missing it.
Hey man, one day I would like to get a episode of the Baller.
Mm-hmm.
To the start of all of it.
The Fallen? I saw as the Angels?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to get into that one, Robo. They're not ready for that. That goes against everything they know.
Yeah. Man, I mean, they need to know.
They need to know, but do they want to know?
Maybe not. I mean, I ain't saying it's true. I ain't saying it's false. It's just something to think about.
There's a lot to think about. This boogeyman has been around a really, really long time.
Shit, the boogeyman came with them.
Boogeyman is from somewhere. We don't know exactly where. From my readings, I hear he's from the Caucasus Mountains. I hear he's from China. I hear he's from Africa. I hear he's from Europe. I hear he's from Greece. I hear he's from France. I hear he's from Slovenia. Like,
shit, that sounds like infiltration to me.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere we're not. Sounds like Discover. Is that Discover?
Yeah, you fucking right about that.
He's everywhere we're not. But he's always in the right place. At the right time with the right people. And when you become the wrong person, he tends to show himself in very, very disturbing ways. I'm not saying X has something. I'm not saying Malcolm X saw the boogeyman. I'm not saying Dr. King saw the boogeyman. I'm not saying Kennedy saw the boogeyman. But I'll say this. They all ran into the same person.
In my opinion, yes, sir.
Someone didn't like it. Someone took a problem with the dissolvement of the Federal Reserve. Someone took an issue with civil rights. Someone took an issue with the Black Panther Party and the Crips and the Bloods and the Vice Lords and the GDs.
Man, what about some of the families? I mean,
which ones?
From what I hear, the Titanic was a hit job.
And
I mean, the boogeyman had something to do with that, in my opinion. The Titanic was a hit job.
You're just trying to stir the pot right now, aren't you?
I'm always trying to stir the pot.
Trying to stir the fucking pot.
Look, just stuff to think about. This ain't, I can't say it's true. I can't say it's fact. I didn't live in that time. I can only get information.
All I know is Leonardo DiCaprio was on the Titanic, so it couldn't have been that damn bad.
Nah, he did. Shit, he ain't survived.
They had a whole song. It was beautiful. Like, they show that movie every year in history class back in school back in the day. We're going to watch the Titanic.